prosecution outlined how accounting practices
fuck?
of Conley Sessions did not.
What kind of likeness is that? If they were great artists, they'll be in a museum.
Evidence today may signal at least one.
You fucking fodder for cartoonists now?
Alrighty, and welcome back to Gutter Boys. Gutter Boys is a small press comics podcast about the ins, the outs, the highs, and the very, very deep, endless lows of making comics. I am your host, Cam Del Rosario, alongside my co-host, JB Rowe. What's good, man?
What's up?
Today... Oh, sorry.
That's it. I had nothing.
All right, well, today on the show, we've got another Canadian. A few episodes ago, we had Terrence. We've got Philip on this episode. No, it's JP Ayres from Vancouver. Talk about his new comic, GASH, and a little bit about VanCAF with Boots on the Ground. Actually, I feel like we went really off the rails on this episode, but some of that stuff is mentioned nonetheless.
Yeah, I think we are slowly making our transition into just doing a Sopranos podcast.
Yeah, especially if this episode's an indication.
Yeah, which I'm not opposed to,
Yeah, I mean... Either that or we just, quit. To prevent us from quitting, patreon.com/gutterboys. $5 a month gets you 2 bonus episodes a month. What did we do? We did
the new bonus episode up.
Yeah, new bonus episode was up for July. We had 2, actually. We had Ryan Cecil Smith return to the show for Real Boys with just me. We discussed Terry Gilliam's Brazil. Fun little movie. Hadn't seen it since I was a teenager. And then JB and I did a Chicago road trip recap from JB's recent visit, alongside covering the Silver Sprocket stuff. So if you want our dish on the Silver Sprocket situation, triple S there.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. You can hit us up at patreon.com/gutterboys. In addition to those new episodes, you've got hundreds of episodes in the vault. So please, 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 please go support us on there.
Oh, I did mispronounce Kieran's name. Philly-based cartoonist. His name is Kieran, not whatever the fuck I said, because it's spelled Ciaran, I think, so it took me a minute, and I figured it out after the fact. Go check out his work on Instagram at Inhuman Flesh. They got a book out, Batman Beautiful, I believe it's called.
Hell yeah.
Very fun book, go check it out.
Before we go, sponsor of the show, Athenium Comics, have put out their 5-year anniversary zine. You can hit up Sean on Instagram at Athenium Comic Art to get a copy of that. It's got scans of original art as well as interviews with their clientele. Previous guests, Noah Van Sciver's in there, Caroline Cash. Everybody's getting dealt by Athenium. So if you want to check out that 5-year anniversary zine, go check it out.
And news. So we did not cover the recent Eisner Award winners.
Yeah, we did.
That was like a week ago, I believe. Shout out to all the winners. You know who you are. The only one that I remember off the top of my head was Daniel Warren Johnson. He won his second Eisner, this time for Best One Shot, his Absolute Batman Story.
Oh, yeah, the annual.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
And so, I mean, I know we usually cover it, but we just forgot, honestly.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody won to put them in the front running for Redacted of the Year. So it's a level playing field. You no longer have someone in small press bring home an Eisner Award to secure you that award. So it'll be a little interesting this year if we make it that long.
Yeah, that's a big if. Okay.
Yeah.
And then real quick, we don't want to make this intro too long. Last week, news broke out about friend of the show,
previous guest
Akira Yoshida. Yes, previous guest in front of the show, Akira Yoshida, who is unfortunately no longer editor-in-chief over at Marvel. He's now being moved into
You got to put a
probably
gong
one of the
sound effect
funniest
here.
moves. Probably one of the funniest moves out of like all the places you could have moved him to. This is objectively the funniest one.
Yeah. They didn't fire him. So I guess he did a good enough job over the last 2 decades to, get tenure over at Marvel. So it sounds like a made up position they made for him. But man, is he going to be happy because he is now going to be transitioning to a new role as head editor-in-chief of Marvel's Asia Originals branch.
Which, totally makes sense. I mean,
It sounds like we made this up, dude. It sounds like something we would say as a bit.
Yoshida-san, after delivering multiple amazing, authentically Japanese comics to American readers, he is now going to be able to oversee all of the great Marvel books in the Asia region for all of their readership. I'm sure there are parades in the streets.
Dozens of them.
Yeah, hearing that, one of their own is now in a very important position at Marvel Comics. So shout out Yoshida-san. That's a huge honor. And we here at the Gutter Boys are extremely excited to see what you do.
Yeah, shout out to our friend Akira. And real quick, just because this is worth mentioning, the new editor-in-chief over at Marvel. Do you know who it is?
Stan Lee. They dug out his corpse and...
AI reanimated it,
Yeah.
So it's a guy named Stephen Wacker.
Hell yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for news, pal.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we return, we will be joined with JP Ayres from Canada. So stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
They're back. This October, get ready for more magic, mayhem, and sibling rivalry. Fantagraphics presents Santos Sisters Volume 2, collecting issues 6 through 10 of the Eisner Award-winning comic book series. This deluxe hardcover is packed with the Technicolor chaos you crave. Don't miss out. Grab the sisters' latest adventures this October wherever great books are sold. Santos Sisters Volume 2, twice the magic, double the trouble.
A young man kidnapped and forced to become a Sicario. A disposable soldier in the wars of organized crime. A young woman kidnapped and trafficked. Her life reduced to a commodity in a brutal underworld. When their paths cross, they see a way out. Will they have a shot at survival? This is How to Disappear in Mexico, a mostly black and white 44-page comic book by cartoonist E. Esparza. A comic inspired by what may lie behind some missing persons cases in Mexico. The comic book is finished and getting released through Kickstarter, which launches May 14th. The digital version is just $2. What a bargain, right? The print version is $31 including shipping, and again, the Kickstarter launches May 14th. The pre-launch page is up now. Just look up How to Disappear in Mexico on Kickstarter.com.
Indie Northern Kentucky, or Inc., is the Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati area's only zine, alternative comic, and small press bookstore, featuring over 400 different zines, alternative comics, and small press titles. A creative space with supplies to ideate and create your own zines and comics, and an event space for your zines, comics, or book release or reading. For more information about how to sell your zines and comics at Inc., stop by indieNKY.com. That's IndieSky.com. Visit our new home in Dayton, Kentucky, and read what the cool kids are reading.
Underground Kingdom Comics Presents Romance is the third issue of a new anthology showcasing the UK's most exciting small press cartoonists. This 28-page A5 comic features cover art by Vincent Bell Robertson and comics by Lily Blakely, Adam Falp, and Anna Redman, plus pinups from Kai Reynolds and Matt Greaves. Daredevils and Warriors wrote, "If you want to leave your comfort zone and are looking for thoughtful and original comics that have an edge without being edgy, then you should check out these UKC books." You can buy Underground Kingdom Comics Presents Romance now, along with the previous 2 issues, Horror and Crime, and Original Art, by backing our Kickstarter, which is live until Friday, March 15th. Don't be a cunt, buy a comic, innit? Hell yeah. Meow. Sid the Cat magazine is out now. If you've ever been to an amazing rock and roll show and thought, I wish I could experience this moment again, but in comic form, then Sid the Cat magazine is for you. Fiercely independent show promoters Sid the Cat have joined forces with comics journalist Andrew Greenstone to bring you an ongoing publication that documents the SoCal indie rock scene. This stunning 52-page full-color magazine features comics, articles, photos, and illustrations from a rotating cast of local illustrators and writers. It's a celebration of Sid's artists and venues and supports those keeping the bleeding edge of the indie music scene alive. Our first issue covers musical artists Big Thief, Illuminati Hotties, Mike Kroll, Fucked Up, Finn Lilly, Katie Kirby, Kate LeBon, Cursive, Christian Lee Hudson, No Win, and so many more. If you are a fan of comics, indie music, zines, rock reports, or community by the way of culture, order a copy now at sidthecat.com/Sid-zine. Again, that's sidthecat.com/Sid-zine.
Athenium Comic Art is an original art website for some of the best cartoonists in the business. They currently represent Remy Boydell, Marie Capelle-France, Nicole Gu, Jonathan Hill, Emma Hunsinger, Casey Nowak, Micah Song, and Tilly Walden. Athenium Comic Art gives fans the opportunity to own an original piece of art from their favorite comics and support the artists that they love. In their short time in business, they've already shipped many iconic pages out to hardcore fans across the globe. Don't miss out on your chance to own a one-of-a-kind piece of history. Check out their website, atheniumcomicart.com, and type in Gutter Gang at checkout to receive free shipping on your first order. Again, the website is atheniumcomicart.com, and the code is Gutter Gang.
Morning, Gary. Morning, Marianne. Need a menu? Nah, I'll just have the usual. You sure do love your eggs and coffee, Gary. Best way to start your morning, Marianne. Well, that and an issue of Town and County. What's that? Town and County is a new comic series written and drawn by cartoonist Alex Nall. He's that guy that wrote them books about teaching and that Mr. Rogers feller. Oh, he was such a nice man. The first issue is 36 pages of black and white comic stories with beautiful color covers and features 6 stories about folks in our little township here in Illinois, like Susie Barber, the house cleaner that uncovers her client's dirty laundry, if you know what I mean, and Stanley Pepper, that big feller that just lost his job and took to drinking every night at Bugs's Tavern. Well, ain't that something? Town and County is published by Ivy Terrace Press, headquartered in Chicago. Chicago? Who would want to live there? So dirty. Each issue comes with a copy of the Hometown Hero, our little town's newsletter, and it's only $8. $8? Where can I get it, Gary? You can order a copy of Town and County on the internet at storeenvy/AlexNallComics. Oh, there's your breakfast, Gary. Thanks, Marianne. Nothing like a cup of coffee and a good comic book.
Rust Belt Review is a quarterly comics lit magazine featuring serialized and short-form comics from some of the most exciting cartoonists in the small press scene today. Volume 1 features work from Gutter alums M.S. Harkness, Audra Stang, and Caleb Orecchio, along with work by Andrew Greenstone, Sean Knickerbocker, and Juan Jose Fernandez. You can order your copy of Rust Belt Review today by going to rustbeltreview.org. Enter in promo code GUTTER to receive $2 off your order. Again, that website is rustbeltreview.org, promo code GUTTER.
The Last Aviatrix is a post-nuclear adventure comic by independent, Los Angeles-based cartoonist Buster Cagle. The story follows Summer, our last aviatrix, who pilots the sole surviving airplane, a nuclear-powered B-29. As she travels the ruined world finding ways to survive and help humanity, while dealing with the imminent threat of the Atom-born, a rare breed of atomic wizards that want to see her out of the sky, her mission becomes complicated when she accidentally picks up Henry, an Atom-born child who wields incredible power, and Clementine, a berserker on a quest for vengeance. Can our aviatrix survive this ruined and irradiated wasteland? Every issue can be read for free on bustercagle.com/comics. Paper copies can be ordered as well, but, you can still read it for free. If you like wizards or warplanes, go check it out.
Now, back to our program.
Alrighty, and welcome back from the break. Today, we are joined with another Canadian. I feel like we are showing some love to the land up north in the last couple months here on Gutter Boys. We've got another Vancouver cartoonist, hot off the release of his brand new comic, GASH. JP Ayres, what's up, man?
What's up? That's right. Canadian comics, we're coming to kill you.
I think our tariffs will put you guys under first. Allegedly, if you listen to the news.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started on that. I'm trying so hard to get stateside distribution, and a whole new round just got announced, and that's what screwed me over last time. Oh, it's terrible. You're killing me over here.
Real quick, just because we've got a JP on the show and a JB on the show. What does JP stand for?
Oh, God, I get asked this question all the time. Back in the day when I used to live in a flop house, I liked to play this fun little game with people, and I'd fuck with people at parties. Oh, shoot. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay, good, because I have Ricky Lafleur disease. I can't speak without it. So basically, I would tell people that it stands for Giuseppe, and they were drunk enough that like 9 times out of 10, they wouldn't realize that it stands that Giuseppe is with a G. It's actually just short for Joseph.
Okay, so what's the P? Is that another name?
There's a P somewhere in Joseph.
Okay,
Don't ask me. A friend stuck me with
it,
and it just went along.
All right.
Let's see. I also say Japri and Just Pipes.
Just Pipes. Nice. I like that one.
Yeah.
Just Piped. So you said back in the day, are you like Ethan? Or are you like a baby as well? How old are you?
Oh, dude, I actually just turned 27 this weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Congrats. Your birthday weekend. That's right. Happy belated. Okay, so you're not super belated. Young.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm not like these young bucks.
You might die this year and join the 27 club, but I don't know if comics is a respectable enough.
That is what I've been telling people.
To join that club.
I hope it's a helicopter ride that takes me out. It'd be fun to do one of those just before I die.
I don't know, man. I saw I didn't see the pictures, but I saw a drawing of the autopsy of Kobe, and that motherfucker was missing 2 feet of his body. I don't know if a helicopter is a way to go. Getting into some pretty gross stuff here, but you might want to reconsider.
Come on, what am I gonna do? Die peacefully, surrounded by family and loved ones like a poser? Come on now.
All right.
It's true. That's coward.
All right,
shit.
so let's go ahead and do you want to? We do want to talk to JP about VanCAF, although it's not going to be as drama filled as we figured it would be. We're going to do that a little later in the show. We don't want to front load all that. So JP, you are fresh off the release of your brand new book, Gash. You self-published that, right?
Yes, self-published. All my work is self-published, although I will say, I can't say anything about it right now, but I am talking to some people that could help me not be so self-published anymore.
Nice.
Okay, hell yeah.
Breaking news here on the pod.
We'll see how these tariffs impact things.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it is interesting, about the trouble that you have getting, your books here without some kind of cost prohibitive tariff there. You did say you were looking into American distribution. What are your problems with that so far, if you don't mind me asking? Just because I feel like someone else might be able to learn from this, and we might be able to give you some tips here too.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that the big thing is that I'm lazy and I don't like dealing with all the finer points of it. I think the point of being a professional artist, as it were, is that you're good enough at art that other people can just handle it for you. And I don't have the patience to deal with that. So I think that my biggest problems are mostly just reaching out to people and keeping the machine running in a consistent way. And at the same time, I find that just because your market is good in Canada and you can prove your sales numbers here, it's a different beast in the States. And I think a lot of retailers are less willing to take a chance on an obscure Canadian series that's as distasteful as mine.
So, well, it's interesting you bring that up because, I mean, are you not in? Because there's so many different ways that you can go when it comes to distribution. You can do consignment, which I fucking hate. Like, I had to do that the first few years. And then eventually I was like, I just don't consign anything. Mainly because, like you mentioned, that laziness factor kicks in. I don't want to call and have to like collect my money. And odds are is like, it's not even worth the $3 per copy I'm getting. But, are you looking to just like go wholesale? Or are you looking to, because there's so many different ways that you can go there. I know you said the dream would be to have other people take care of it completely, but
I'm down to play ball with whatever the individual retailer wants, like if they want consignment, which is the thing a lot of people want, I'm definitely down to do that. Chances are I won't collect my money because they'll just so you guys stock my stuff. I'm lazy. You can pocket that cash, but I do prefer to just do wholesale because it's just easier and cleaner that way, in my opinion. And I don't mind cutting down the price of my books.
JB, where are you at on consignment? You've been in the game long enough to have probably done both.
Yeah, no, I've definitely had plenty of books consigned to different shops, and I'm pretty sure I would probably say like the majority of books I've consigned to, I've never double checked to get the money back on.
Yeah,
that's on me. That's on me. I just next time I'm in Chicago, I do have to go to Quimby's and check. But
well, I don't know if you knew this, but Quimby's added a caveat where if you don't pick it up by the end of the calendar year, it's theirs. So
that's good. Okay, yeah, because they have new owners. That's right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna have to burn that building down then.
Right. Yeah.
Parody. No, I would say if you're starting out, it's definitely a good way to get your books in the hands of people that otherwise wouldn't see it. And, like the cost benefit of it, I think is relatively manageable. But then as you're progressing as a cartoonist and you're self-publishing more, or obviously if you get published by someone else, then the need for that obviously kind of degrades over time. So I think it just depends on a case by case and sort of where you're at in your quote unquote career as a cartoonist, if that's something you're like actively wanting to do. But at a certain point, it just kind of becomes pointless and maybe not beneficial to you as an artist.
Yeah, I think that what I have found is I distribute most of my work through gigs and tabling. And what I prefer about that method is I think it creates a stronger connection with my audience. And it's a bit more of a personable experience that way, And what I like about it too is that I don't always do like art markets and tables at cons. I actually had a lot of success when I was putting out the issue 0, doing like punk shows and drag shows and crap, because people aren't expecting to find a comic in that environment. And so like there's a bit of a discoverability aspect to it that I found is really good at creating audience retention.
For sure. And, I think you can't really lean on one approach alone.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to have something consigned at a shop, you should have a web shop and you should be tabling.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
It's not one or the other. It has to be multiple avenues for people to get your work.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you there.
Yeah, and real quick, I want to say I apologize if I came off as snobby, being like, I don't even mess with consignment, but that's mainly because if I'm going to forget to pick up the money, I might as well just have those copies myself. That's a personal thing. Not like I don't look down on anybody for doing consignment, whether you're a shop or a cartoonist, because if you're getting your work out there, you're getting your work out there. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that because I think in case I started it off with a bitter sentiment.
Oh, hey, man, we are cartoonists, which I think is a particularly competitive field within the arts. I think snobbery is fun and encouraged.
Well, we took it a little too far. I don't know if you know about the show you're on, but
I'm aware.
We're changed men over here at the Gutter Boys podcast.
Yeah, we don't like fun anymore. Fun is dead. It's in the past. We have to put away childish things like fun
and be
get that
nice
shit out of here.
And professional. Look, Scott Snyder's not going to come on the show until we turn it around. Okay,
exactly.
So
we're trying to get Tom King set up here.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you're valid, Kings. You're valid.
Yeah. Any last thoughts on like consignment or I do have some, I guess, like advice as far as getting your work out there. If a store says no, don't be discouraged. I had stores tell me no up until this podcast started. And the only reason why they say yes after this podcast started is because this podcast was like hot for a little bit. So keep doing your thing. Stores are kind of gatekeeperish, but also like you have to kind of consider they only have so much shelf space as well. That said, if you're a specialty comic store that's willing to put zines on consignment, I don't really think it's that hard to tuck them away in a box and feature them, et cetera, et cetera. But I guess that's kind of how I feel there.
No, I would agree with you. I don't find it necessarily discouraging as much as I find it to be a headache. And I think that that's a big part of the reason why I'm so eager to attach myself to a publisher, because it's nice when you have a marketing machine and just like evidence that people advocate for your work other than yourself. It's easy to say, hey, look at this cool, weird thing that I'm making. It's much harder to convince people that people actually like it in the first place.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like, especially if you're looking for an audience, I mean, what better way to do it? And we'll get into your comic work, but I mean, it's obviously very North American, in spirit. And I think, you would find an audience here in America. That said, I'm sure you've tried this, but obviously the easy places to go are Spit and a Half, Partners and Sons, Wig Shop. I don't know if Strangers is still distroing on his site or not. I think he might have just pivoted straight to publishing, but those are the three I'd recommend. I think Porcelino is still doing his distro, but if they've told you no, tell them the Gutter Boys sent you.
Okay, gotcha. I will absolutely work by connections.
Yeah, and show them that Polly Walnuts tattoo, which I haven't seen, by the way. Show me now that we're on air on this audio podcast.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. It's going to be a little cumbersome, but let's see if I can set this up in a reasonable way.
Y'all get my live reaction.
Oh god, wait. Is that visible?
Oh, there he is. Yeah, there he is. It's on the calf. Am I looking at a calf here?
Yeah, but what a lot of people don't realize is that there's actually a human centipede just above that.
Oh shit. Okay.
And that looks like that was probably the most painful part.
No, honestly, I'd say that the worst one was probably the stomach rocker, because like once it hit the sternum, just the whole
that
body.
Makes sense. Yeah, I was just thinking behind the knee, like that's
for
rough,
sure.
I'd imagine
Terrible. So okay, let's talk Human Centipede and Sopranos. If you got Chrissy, Tony, Paulie, and Syl, the four of them, who's in the front, who's in the middle, and who's in the back? I'm glad we're featuring your interview on this.
That's a really tough call. Okay, so I think that it's hard to rank them all individually. So what I'm going to say as a cheap answer is I would rank it in order from least to most misogynistic.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So Tony, all the way in the back.
Okay.
And
that means put Syl at the front, right?
Oh, well, I mean, come on, look at that beautiful mean mug. Of course.
I mean, there's different ways you could approach this. I mean, obviously, if you go through the hierarchy of the family, it's Tony, Syl, Paulie, then Chrissy. You could also go by your favorite character.
I think Paulie goes in the front purely because I already have the tattoo, and we love a man who loves his mother. Well, I guess there was that one bit in the show, actually. I guess that's a complicated relationship.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he ends up coming around.
Yeah. That was that hurt to see when he was mean to his adoptive mother, though. That was painful to see.
Oh, yeah. Season 6 is like underrated, I feel.
It is, but I think people just, I think the reason why
people always just go to season 3. They just want to talk about season 3.
People don't prop up
it's a good season.
Because it's just, everything's fucking crashing and burning.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, look what they did to our beautiful boy, Bobby.
Yeah. Oh, Bobby would be, unfortunately, Bobby would be at the very end if we included Bobby in this.
I don't know, man,
I'm not standing for Bobby disrespect, okay?
I'm just going off the hierarchy of the family.
No. Bobby was basically the number 2 guy at that point.
He was, but not in appearance.
What do you mean?
Because weren't like Syl and Paulie higher up than Bobby? So like Bobby might have done more, but
originally, yes. Originally, Syl was number 2, but then Bobby kind of like worked his way up and then also married his sister.
Yes.
And that kind of brought him up in the family hierarchy. And then Chrissy's gone by then, right? And Paulie is just kind of there. Like he doesn't want the responsibility, and he's never really respected by the family in the same way that Syl is, or even Bobby at that point. So I would imagine it would be Tony, Syl, Bobby, and then Paulie. And if Chrissy's still around, it depends on the season. Chrissy
season 1, he's at the back.
Right. Chrissy could be in the back. He could be number 2. He could just not be there at all because he's dead. So dealer's choice.
Yeah, many ways you can approach this. All right.
It's a real thinking man's question when you think about it.
This is the new podcast, folks. These are the
Okay, well,
conversations.
if this
you
is
can
the new
expect.
podcast, I got a question for you. This is a game I've been playing with people lately.
All right.
Who's your Muppets casting in The Sopranos?
I mean,
Oh,
Carmela's
man.
obviously Miss Piggy.
Are you sure about that?
What
Are
other
you sure
girls
about
are
that?
in the Muppets?
No, see, everyone always casts Miss Piggy in a woman's lead, and I appreciate that. But you do need to think about personality. This is why
Yeah.
Miss Piggy will always be Polly Walnuts to me.
Look, I don't know how you do it up there in Canada, but the way we do it down here in America.
Yeah, take your
I'll also
poutine
take
eating
Sil.
somewhere else.
Poutine. Thank you very much.
Poutine.
You'll announce my regional delicacy with the correct French accent. Thank
It's
you.
pronounced like poontang. Poontang.
Okay, well now you're getting too Italian with it. Like
Poutine pie.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh.
What is that one girl's name that's in the band? And she's like kind of like a burnout hippie.
Animal?
No, that's
Is
the
An-
drummer.
Janice?
Yeah,
Janice.
there was a Janice
Janice.
in
Yeah,
the
that was a deep
Muppets.
cut for me. I'm surprised I remembered that.
That's a good pull
Let me
right
see.
there. Yeah, she would be a good. I could see her maybe being Carmela, but she would really have to like practice the Jersey
okay.
accent.
Look, I'm gonna be real. This is Janice would be Janice. I'm just looking at her. She looks like a burnout hippie, and that's what Janice was. So
Yeah, but she's
And
only
you know
like
they're doing
for
the same amount of coke.
That's true. Yes. Do you think? Well, okay. Who's Richie? Or not? Not Richie. What's his name? Fucking Joey Pantalone's character. What am I thinking?
my Ralphie.
Ralphie, not Richie. Thank you.
Yeah.
Who's Ralphie?
You're asking the wrong guy, honestly. I'm trying to remember who the hell Ralphie is. And it's
Joey Pantalones. He shows up in season 3, dies in season 4. He owns the horse.
oh my gosh, yes. Okay, yes.
Rizzo the Rat.
Gut instinct. Oh my gosh, you're so right. I was gonna say Gonzo, but that's better. That is better.
Rizzo, that's good. All right. So Janice got the handgun to Rizzo's head while they're having sex. Or no, it would be the other way around. Rizzo would have the loaded gun on Janice, right? But then Rizzo would also get pegged by Janice.
Pegged, yeah.
Now I'm just imagining that play out as
Yeah.
Muppets, and that's very interesting.
It's a fun game. It's normally I do this with Fight Club, but I think that this is
Tony's Fozzie Bear, right?
No, that's Bobby. Fozzie is Bobby.
Fozzie is definitely Bobby. Obviously, like here's the thing, right?
There.
Oh my god, guys, I was so wrong. I need to retract my earlier statement. Okay, hear me out. Dr. Melfi is Kermit, and Miss Piggy is Tony.
Sure,
Interesting.
why not?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then
Anyways,
the eagle guy is Syl because he's got
Yes.
the face.
yeah, that's the only one that makes sense.
Yeah.
Chrissy would be Beaker because he's always like trying to cook up some drugs and he looks like a crackhead. Maybe Animal
Oh my
though.
God.
No, I think I would. No. It would be Gonzo because he's got the nose.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I'm looking at
And my
a
favorite
list.
part of The Sopranos is when Chrissy gets shot out of that cannon.
Exactly. Yeah. By Tony.
Obviously,
man,
Marty
sorry,
Bucco is the chef.
Oh yeah, obviously. Oh
And
my
then
god.
actually, look, I'm looking at him now. Waldorf, one of the old men that sit in the balcony. That's definitely Hesh.
Yeah.
Just looks
Oh,
just
one-
like him.
I was going to say one of them's Junior, Uncle Junior, and the other one's Hesh for sure.
Yeah,
Oh, what's the dude who really loves his wife?
Bobby?
Bobby. Yeah.
No. The old man who like has
Oh,
the wife
Johnny
who like
Sack.
is really self-conscious.
Johnny Sack from
Yeah,
New
that's
York.
that's the other old man.
Yeah, maybe.
That's
okay.
Statler.
Maybe. Yeah. Wait, then who's Uncle Junior?
Pops. It looks like there's another old man named Pops that I've never seen. Or dude, you know who Uncle Junior is actually? He's not on this list, but there's like a character that's like green and he's bald and he has glasses. And he's always with Beaker, I think.
Yeah, no, he's the scientist. I know him.
Yeah,
I was gonna say the Junior would be like the one human in the series.
Scooter would be Scooter. Who the fuck
That's
is
wild.
Scooter? Yeah.
That's wild. The one human is Uncle Junior. Just getting into these heated arguments with Muppets.
Yo, this the big monster guy, Sweetums, that could be Tony.
I see that. I see it.
Yeah. All right. Let's give the folks what they need and they came here for. We're getting
Yeah,
into
I'm
Patreon
sorry. This is
territory.
actually this is going off the
Don't
rails.
apologize. This is me driving there.
That being said, I tell you, I think I got a good idea for the next comic. Gash is over. I'm dedicating myself purely to this now.
I mean, hey, you know what? IDW needs some fucking help. They just put out a Muppets book. Go pitch over there. See if they're interested. You said you did issue 0, and then the new issue is number 1, getting us back on track. Is this your first comic that you sat down to make, or what's your history in making comics leading up to Gash?
Not much, if I'm being honest. Let me think. I mean, I've always been an illustrator, and I did like a lot of graphic design work for like a long time. But when it came down to Gash and making comics, I kind of was in this weird place where I quit art for a few years, and I settled back down at the advice of my therapist, because I was like, oh, I'm 23, my life is over, I'm never making anything of importance ever. My therapist was like, well, that's dumb, you should just make something. And so I got into picking the sketch pad back up, and there was kind of like this weird time in my life where me and my roommate at the time we're both getting really invested into our own mediums. Buddy was an oil painter. And so we just spent a lot of time on the back table of our living room, just like making and working on crap. And there was like a few comics before Gash that were like not good, like Notes App Poetry, Autobio, and like I had this one good bit of a character called Cheese Rat that was kind of like Hello Kitty, but like he was like a rat. It was like a rat beanbag chair body, but like with human arms and legs who would offer people cheese in times of tragedy. And I don't know. None of that like really clicked with me. What happened with Gash was kind of funny. I wasn't setting out to make a comic. I was actually doing a study page because I had the sketchbook that an aunt had gifted me that was like 14 by 17. So I just wanted to see if I could make something on a big page. So if you look on the first splash of issue 0, that's actually a rip of a classic Wolverine cover. And I put in the text boxes because I needed something to fill out the composition. And then I started putting words in the text boxes, and the story just kind of snowballed from that point.
Hell yeah. So was there any comics pre-Gash, or was this like your return to the, creating?
I'd say nothing more than 7-panel one-pagers. And those were short and comedic and not of substance. I would say Gash is my first honest attempt at making a comic. Although I guess I did do some newspaper cartooning in college.
So you mentioned before comics, obviously you were messing around in other art and design. What else were you doing?
Oh gosh, I mean, a bit of everything. I went to college for journalism, and that was actually really fulfilling. I really enjoyed that work, and unfortunately, it didn't work out because the economy is just in the shitter, and I don't know. It just felt like it wasn't quite for me. I didn't like working in an office very much. And so, I did like a lot of writing. I would kind of consider myself more of a writer than an illustrator in a lot of ways. And then, I kind of hopped into graphic design because I was really poor at the time. And turns out that if you sell prints on Instagram, that's a good way to make a buck. And then, I don't know, that's kind of when my Instagram page started when I was like 19, because I was in like survival mode in college. And so like I started putting forward that kind of like illustration work, and it got kind of popular really fast. I know I have like a decent amount of followers, but the dirty secret I'll tell people is I actually got all of that in like my first year on Instagram, and then the algorithm changed and I've had like maybe 500 extra followers since. And so when I was doing that kind of work, it got pretty involved pretty fast, and I started working with like bands, just doing like a shirt design or an album cover or like a cover for a single here and there. And I found that really fulfilling because it was an exercise in the same kind of, the work had parameters, which I really identified with coming out of a journalistic space. And it felt like I had a lot more direction in the work than like just drawing little doodles in my sketchbook.
It seems like you were you working freelance, or were you just doing shit for fun back then when you were working for bands?
I mean, I would say freelance. The way that typically works is you just like post a bunch on Instagram, just whatever you feel like drawing. I had a mason jar full of like little drawing ideas, and I just pick something out at random. And then that's like the work that you do to just have something to post. And then through that, bands start reaching out and they just go, hey, I like your style. Do you think you can do this? And a lot of the times I'd say no because people have terrible ideas. But, if it's a good idea, I'm absolutely down to clown.
The reason why I was asking is mainly because people start in comics and then move to freelance once they realize that comics aren't necessarily like an easy financial game, and you seem to be kind of going backwards with it, which is just an interesting trajectory because I feel like usually it like works the other way around. So Are you still doing like freelance art, or are you trying to just buckle down and focus on making comics? Where's your head at with creating right now?
Well, for one, I would say I understand what you're saying about the backwards trajectory, but I think that it's a fool's errand for a lot of people. One question I get a lot at conventions is, "Hey, how do I make money doing this?" And it's usually from like animators realizing that their industry's in the pit as well, and they think comics is it, and it's not, guys. It is absolutely not.
Yeah,
But
like all the best cartoonists from like the 2000s and 2010s went to animation. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, so I don't know. I don't think that I'm in comics for money personally, and I don't say that to like be pretentious or anything. I just think that like now that I'm in a place where I have a career outside of art, it's given me the space to enjoy making art again, which is really refreshing. But in terms of like where my head is at, I like taking on graphic design work, especially while I'm in the middle of making a comic, because it's just a break. Like I get to like go out on a limb and do something that I don't really do. And like a secret tip for people is that like, if a band wants you to do a commission for them, they usually want it to have some kind of visual identity that like isn't really fully your art or is a little different because they want to stand out. So my suggestion is just do something that you're bad at. The last commission I did, I used that as an opportunity to teach me how to get good with brushes, because like I have a heavy hand. I can't work a brush worth a damn. And it was nice because the product came out like really unique from a lot of my work. And I don't know, I like taking on commissions because I need a break. I can't work on Gash full time. It hurts my hands. It hurts my brain. And then I get to just focus up on comics and the time in between, and it's great.
hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to avoid burnout
Yeah,
for sure.
no, because like this issue was like 2 years on the table, and the burnout and like that big middle section was very real.
But, I think some people are better at pushing through that than others. Like, I'm terrible at it, if I'm being honest. But I'll see people be able to like work through that sort of like very cumbersome burnout zone. And then they'll just like blast through it just through sheer force and will. And then, take a very brief break.
Yeah.
And I just don't have that in me, I guess, or at least not anymore at this age. I might have had it like 10 years ago, but not anymore.
Yeah, I really try not to push as best as I can, even though I feel horribly guilty for not working on it. It's just that there are times where like I know I'm burnt out and I know that I'm overworking a page and just trying to push through. And I think you really need to have that clarity of like, I don't know, just not hating your work in order to actually make something that you're
for
happy
sure.
with.
I agree. What about you, Cam? Do you just push through the burnout, or do you just kind of take a break and work on something else, or what's your strategy?
I'm a podcaster only now, so I don't even make comics. Yeah.
Oh, true.
I mean, honestly, what it is like you said, a few years ago, I would have been going harder at it, but I'm just too fucking old. Like, not that I've given up. I just feel like if I'm gonna put comics out, I want it to be the best work it can be, as opposed to just working to put something out. And I've realized that, look, not to get all like fucking negative, but after years of doing this show and seeing how non-financially viable it is to be a cartoonist solely as a cartoonist, like, I mean, I could get deeper into this, and Gary Panter's been posting lately that if Social Security dries up, like, he'll have to take commissions again because he's broke. And that's like one of like the biggest fucking underground cartoonists you can be. And that's an old dude who's, renowned all over the world. And if he's, a Social Security check away from having to put himself out there and be freelance, like, I don't know, I guess I've just been kind of not turned off by the art world, but as far as like, why break your back doing all these comics for little return? And maybe, I kind of question myself, like, maybe that means that I'm not as into it as other people, and that's fine. If you want to, if it's something that you have to work out and do yourself, but now it's like, oh, if I don't feel like it's going to hit, I don't even want to fuck with it. So I avoid burnout by only working on what I want to work on, which isn't much nowadays, to be honest. Yeah.
This feels like a good opportunity for me to shoehorn in something that I kind of wanted to bring up. I'm going to be a little pompous here for a second. I don't mean to be all like, oh, I don't care about making money. Listen, get the bag, guys. Get the bag, But a big thing that I try to talk a lot about, especially with artists when they're like starting out, it's so weird to me when people ask me, "How do I get where you're at?" It's like, dude, I don't know. I work full time. This is arguably a hobby at best. And like, I think that Rothko, are you guys up on your Rothko?
The painter?
Oh,
yeah,
is he dropping new shit?
No. He killed himself so long ago. No, but when I was working with my roommate who was an oil painter, we were doing a lot of reading about like the art world and like having this big debate about like what makes art versus a craft, because they were of the argument that like, oh, comics aren't art because like you got to make them collaboratively and it's not like a sole work of vision. And we had this debate for months and months until we found this Rothko quote that I really think illuminates a lot of really just puts into perspective a lot of the contentions that we have as cartoonists with our art and why we feel so disconnected from the labor of it. So if I may, Rothko says, a work of art is A, the result of vision, B, has no commercial value in view, C, has only collectors and social value, D, is unique, E, is of an evocative quality, whereas a work of craft is A, the result of an able and skilled effort, B, has applied commercial value in view, C, has a definitive market value, D, can't be duplicated, and E, is of no evocative quality. And I think that puts us in a really interesting position as artists, right? Because through this definition, it's pretty inarguable that a lot of the work that we put forward is craft, It's an artistic medium that requires a high level of craft in order to create what we view as the art. And I think that sometimes when we say to ourselves that the motive is profit, we alienate ourselves from like what makes the work meaningful to us.
Sure. Let me rephrase what I said, I suppose. I guess if I'm going to work and put all the time and effort into a comic, I want it to be the best that it can be now. Whereas before, I would just be like, okay, well, I need to just have 3 to 4 new comics a year. So that way it's like fresh throughout the year. And then I realized like, I guess I'm just like, it's like how much like physical and mental drive go into those, like making comics. And I guess I was just like, well, now I'm at the age and maturity point where it's like, I'm still going to make comics, but I'm not going to just make comics to make comics. I'm going to make something that I'm proud to put out, I suppose. Now, if there were financial aspects to this.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, now I would obviously like work harder, I think, if there was more financial reward though. Like, I think I would have like a regular comic that came out,
totally,
multiple times a year is, I guess, where I'm at on it. But it's not feasible because
listen, I'm not calling you out or anything.
Oh no,
like
no.
that.
I don't think that at all. I just wanted to make sure that I was clear on what I said. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you're totally clear. But if I could just make an observation on what you're saying, I think that like this aspect of burnout that you're describing within your own personal work, like I think that you are recognizing that you are working from a place of craft and the pressure of that output. And now you're saying that you're in this place where you just want to make something that's the best it can be. And like, honestly, I think that's a tremendously healthy place to be for makers. I think that cartoonists put so much pressure on themselves just to like hit those deadlines and like be the best through their output. And I don't know, I'm finding a fair bit of success, like taking it at a leisurely pace and like just giving the art room to shine through on the page, and I think that's the place that you're at too.
Yeah, definitely. I guess because everybody wants to be a creator and not have a day job. So I guess like when you look at cartoonists that make it actually work for themselves, I'm sure they're also, they've probably got they got a bunch of different pots and pans going as well that you don't know about. But I guess I just feel like all of us want to be like solely just making comics, I think. And I think I've just accepted that, hey, that's not a realistic thing to do. So now I just want to, like you said, focus on putting out the best thing. I do think that it is like a healthy place to be. Like I actually feel better about it now than when I was running in the race.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
And I think it's important that we be honest about that too, like it takes an extraordinary degree of like privilege and effort to like reach a spot where your art is your full-time career. I'm not saying that every artist comes from a place of privilege. I'm just saying that is a hallowed and honored spot to be in.
And I will say that the majority of them probably are privileged and have a financial backing.
Yeah, that's right. I'm dunking on you, art school students. But yeah, man, I hate to see so many people get discouraged about like where the industry is at, because like realistically, like it's not the economy of the 70s that like birthed underground cartoonists. Like I think that we just need to be realistic about where we're at, and if we like decentivize ourselves from like putting from it being a full-time grind and like romanticizing the grind, kill grind culture, guys. It's not about the grind, it's about the quality of the work and making something that is true to yourself.
There you go. That's how I feel. Yeah, for sure.
I'm just trying to figure out how I can convince Palantir to hire me to make a comic about
disguised as a Marvel ad
about how. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Like drones are your friends. AI.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're just describing a Marvel movie at that point.
That's true. Actually,
hang on. Dylan's Google machine's going off. I'm sorry, JB. You'll have to edit that out.
What the fuck is that?
Like his little like Google Home Assistant thing just started talking for some reason. I guess something I said triggered it.
Oh hell no, bro! He's got the fucking CIA just actively recording him. That's crazy.
Planeteer in the walls.
Oh,
actually, you said Planeteer, and I guess it heard in my headphones, and it started talking.
Yeah, it's a Palantir.
Wasn't it better when like the CIA had to personally hire a goon to bug your house? No, now we just buy the bugs.
Right? Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, we don't make them work for it anymore. It's fucked up.
No, here's one thing that I want to ask, and just kind of open up for conversation. With you being in Canada, a country that supports the arts, there's art grants. Granted, I know not every artist is getting those, but you all actually have it like baked in to your taxes that like you have like, art funds in Canada. Like I'll open up records from Canadian bands, and every time they thank, even in comics, they thank the Canadian Art Council or whatever you guys call it up there. I wonder if the perspective is different there in Canada versus America, because I feel like your country just cares so much about the arts, whether or not you're getting the grant money or not. I just feel like hearing what you're saying is like, it's awesome and it makes me feel better about where I'm at. But I wonder if that mentality comes from you being Canadian. Where are you at on that, JB? Because obviously, like, we have a little bit of a difference of opinion here. No heat or anything, obviously. But do you think that it's like the art culture, America versus Canada, and them actually caring and financially investing in it versus in America where you're on your own like everything else? I'm kind of interested to hear what you all think about that.
So my thoughts on this are, I don't know. I think they're a little complicated. I've heard you guys ask this question to us Canadian creators before. And I think that like the roles that grants play are a little overhyped to a certain degree. I think that like, yes, it is available. And when I was younger, like I used to work in I used to have a literary magazine that like had grant funding and crap. And like, that was a way that like our government certainly enabled that kind of work, But I think something that's really important to consider about the grant system in Canada is that like we're not like America in the sense that we have a really strong national identity. There's not necessarily a definition of the Canadian dream that's like particularly different from the American one. And to that regard, we're just kind of like smaller Americans. So I think a lot of like what the grant system supports in Canada is about cultural identity and creating that kind of cultural identity. And that's why when you're picking up a record that's from Canada and we're thinking all these grants, that's because like our government decided, hey, this is culturally significant and we want to put this across to Americans so that we can be distinctified as a culture, And so like I think that leaves a lot of artists who are making more alternative work a little more on the wayside. And that's unfortunate because like Canada is really unique in their voices, I mean, come on, we're the country that produced Cronenberg. And I think that from what I've seen from a lot of my peers, I think that there's a certain type of work that the higher ups want to put forward that doesn't necessarily fit into the category of the truly unique voice that I view as representative of Canadian cartooning or film or music,
I can't relate to living in a country that supports the arts, so I don't know. I can't really comment.
Hey, not to brag, but we also have dental, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Have you visited America, JP?
Oh God, not since like grade 9 band camp. I went to Seattle once. I've actually not traveled out of province a lot. I went to Winnipeg recently, which was like the first time I ever got on a plane. So,
what the hell were you doing?
Oh, family wedding.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Weird thing about Winnipeg though, not being a travel person, this blew my mind. They had the craziest combination stores out there. Like I passed by this place. that like they have a lot of like fried chicken laundromats for some reason. But my favorite one that I crossed was I saw a tobacconist cannabis store that also sold VHS. And if that's not everything that I want out of a store,
Yeah, I need that Winnipeg hookup. That's sick. Also, the laundromat fried chicken joint. That sounds fucking sick
yeah,
too.
Winnipeg's kind of sick. I can't lie.
I'd be kind of pissed about that because your clothes would smell like fried food if you were doing your laundry there.
Hey, you don't know how bad I stink. Already does.
I always assume Winnipeg is just like the most depressing place in
No,
Canada.
that would be. Oh, gosh, actually, I'm trying to think. What's the most depressing place in Canada? The prairies get a really bad rap, but I don't think it's that bad. I hate Toronto with a deep passion. So I would say there.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, come on. Any city that makes Drake needs to like be burned. And no. No, actually, Winnipeg is really depressing. I can't lie. The mosquitoes are the size of dimes, and it's so bleak and flat, and all the housing is from like World War II, like that post-war boom. And so, yeah. No, you're right. Winnipeg is actually deeply depressing. I shouldn't be hyping it up.
Okay. All right. Fair. Maybe the laundromat, KFC, or fried chicken combos. That's just there to like help curve the self-harm rate.
Yeah, probably.
What about you, Cam? What are your thoughts on all this?
I just know that Chris Jericho is from Winnipeg. I don't really have any thoughts on what the most depressing area of Canada is. I feel like there's probably gonna be some pockets that like you could drive through in the winter that's nothing but like snow and leafless trees that I would just fucking hate. But I mean, you get that down here too. So I don't want to come across as putting America over Canada in any way.
Yeah, we're really not that different as countries. Like I think our poverty exists in very much the same way.
I guess we should get a little bit more into comic talk, just a little bit. So GASH #1 is out and 0 is out. I know you're having some trouble getting those here to America, but that's going to end up being a non-problem for you eventually. Are you planning on continuing GASH now that there's a numbering of the series?
Listen, I would love so badly to quit Gash. Like, it hurts my hands to make it. It's so complicated, and like I find it exhausting. Unfortunately, it's really popular, and people just keep buying it. Much to my chagrin. So, unfortunately, I have to finish.
Suffering from success.
And I know it's really a pain. You know, I'd really like to make. I would love to make something brain dead, like an autobio thing. You know, wouldn't that be great? I could just like tell shitty stories about my life and be like, "Isn't this interesting?"
Oh damn!
No,
just shooting from the hip.
Don't get me started on. And the worst part is that I have some stuff that would make some very good autobio, but I'm not that cheap. Let's see. No. Gash is in a really good place right now. I think that
those stores I told you that might carry you will not now.
Good. I think the Gash is in a really good place right now. I finished issue 1, and I kind of view issue 0 as like the thesis statement. You know, I was really making it from the perspective of I might never make another thing that's important or good. So let's just like try to make something as best as I can. And I was really precious about the metaphor, you know? So I really expanded that out with issue 1 and like tried to make something more meaningful and more specific. And I think that I succeeded in that. So what's next for Gash is, as I mentioned a little earlier in the show, I've been talking to a couple of publishers, and the big problem is that they all want like 48 pages. So the goal is that I am going to be taking issue 0 and issue 1, breaking out of this anthology format. Oh, my lisp is getting to me. And I'm going to try to connect these stories because, funny enough, with issue 1, the character of the Reaver, I wrote originally as an antagonist for the Panzram unit for issue 0. And when I was getting to writing the issue where the two of them interacted with each other, the story just got like too crowded. And so I decided to just try to make something new and see if I can carry on with this anthology format. But I've had enough time on the table. I have the story plotted out. I know exactly where the endpoint of this series is. And now it's just about putting all the pieces together. And so that's the next Gash. I'm going to have a full 32 to 48 page issue out whenever I get the time to finish it.
Hell yeah.
So, okay, so do you have any sort of idea of what you would like to work on if you were to, close the book, so to speak, on
Oh,
Gash?
so many things. So many things. It's my story folder is just jam packed. Let's see. I mean, like I said, I do actually have some decent ideas for some autobio work. I know I was saying that I didn't do a lot of comic work before, but like when I was 19, I had this shitty poetry zine that like had some illustration work in it, and it had to do with this time that I was living in the shed to get through college. And it's funny. I'm sorry. I'm only thinking about this because like my girlfriend found my notebook on this like the other night, and it just had me thinking about the story. But it was an interesting time in my life because like I was surrounded by like a lot of like really weird characters because it was like rented out by this Quebecois woman with her like son who was in recovery. He slept with like this big sign above his bed that said, "Nick, don't smoke meth again or you'll die." And he was genuinely the nicest person I'd ever met, except for the sheer violence of who he was. And I don't know. I think that there is a story there that's kind of about my own experience in growing up. In the original thing that I worked on, it had this metaphor of lycanthropy as like a coming of age thing, and like the lows that you put yourself through in order to make what your life work. And I think that everyone that was in that situation had a similar thing going on there. And so I think I don't know. There is meat to that story. I've just never really fully diced it, and I've also found it too melodramatic for me to want to continue on that. In terms of fiction, I actually have a really good script that I'm really enjoying working on right now that's kind of like a retelling of the story of Noah's Ark through a bit of an eldritch horror thing. And it actually kind of focuses on the wives of Noah and his sons as like this exploration of what it means to protect life. And the plot of it is basically these women are protecting a single pregnant woman who snuck onto the ark from these men who are slowly going into insanity through their own faith. Because I don't know if you've ever like actually like gone back and read the story of Noah's Ark, but like Noah's a fascinating and weird mystical character who's like heavily involved in like magic and ritual, and he's also kind of a drunk. Like that's a horror movie villain right there. And so I don't know, like it's a lot of ideas, but I think that needs to wait until I'm done with Gash because I'm very precious about the story and I won't feel good until it's complete.
Hell yeah. So I guess one thing that I said that we'd have to talk about, and I guess we can kind of squeeze into the end here. You mentioned that you debuted, well, you didn't mention it here on the show, but on your social media, you were talking about debuting Gash at VanCAF. We have been covering on the show extensively the VanCAF controversy, both when it happened a few years ago and then the resurfacing of it this year. As I kind of alluded to, it wasn't as salacious as I thought it was going to be. But what was your experience like with VanCAF? And also any thoughts on the local comics community that you're involved with there?
Oh my gosh, I mean, so many thoughts. Okay, so I'm sorry, I might be a little lengthy on this, but I think that I had a lot of feelings when the controversy came around the first time around. I think an important piece of context that a lot of people missed when that happened was that VanCAF had new organizers 2 years ago. It was a completely new group of people. So when the author in question started this controversy, Miriam Lebicki, I believe that's her name. Don't quote me on that. But
That's
when
right. Yeah.
she was grandfathered in. Like she wasn't vetted by these new organizers. And like I'm not saying that like this issue between Israel and Palestine has been going on for a very long time. Maybe people should have thought about that a little more. But I am saying that like very unexpectedly to them when this war started. It was just a bad confluence for some people who were well intentioned. And it was very unfortunate to see the lack of empathy that people had for the organizers of this event, particularly because VanCAF left for a year and we were kind of just left hat in hand. That's like a really important piece of our industry here in the city. Like we don't have a lot of other like big cons that we can like reach out to. And yeah, this one woman has some bad views that like I don't fundamentally agree with. But at the same time, like VanCAF does promote like a lot of queer, femme, POC voices, and like that's like an important community function of the event. So it was unfortunate to see it go. Now that being said, what happened this year, a little more complicated than that. I think that what happened was, to my understanding, I tried to talk to the event organizers about this a little bit. but they were pretty cagey about it. I also don't know how much you guys talked about it in the pre-show, but there's a legal case that they're being very mysterious about. And to my understanding, they were legally required to include her. And I think that was not communicated to us as the artist. And I understand that that came partially from the fact that she seemed to be really in and out of the event and couldn't decide if she wanted to participate in the first place, despite making this lawsuit. But again, I don't even know if it's a lawsuit. They're very cagey about it. And so I can understand where the
It's probably a lawsuit, which is why they're cagey. Allegedly. I don't want to say anything, but that's my read on the situation is obviously there's a lawsuit involved because they can't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly, right? And so like I get it to a certain extent, but I think the big headline is though, like a lot of us artists were like really dissatisfied with that, but I think that the big headline here is kind of like love wins on this one. I think that the event
So true.
No, seriously, like the
So
event organizers
true.
really came through. Like they raised, here I got the number written down here. They raised like $1,771 just through like handing out like flyers and collecting donations and like selling informational zines about like the conflict and all that. And if that's not exactly how you respond to one person spoiling the fun for everyone else, like hell yeah, guys, like that's not a small sum. And all that money went to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. And on top of that,
Yeah,
like
no, that's I know I laughed, but I laughed at the love wins thing, just the phrase love wins, not the aid going to Palestinians.
I know. And like we as a community too, like a bunch of other artists were also like collecting charity and like donating portions of their proceeds. And given how small the margins are for us, like that's not a small thing either. From my count, I think that like close to another K was raised between all the artists at the show that were working on that.
Yeah.
So
Good. Okay.
I think that we really banded together as a community
For
to
sure.
make this work despite the
For
bad
sure.
hand that we were dealt. And like I would say that the vibes were great at the event. I have to say, like everyone was just like super supportive and friendly with each other. I don't think I even saw Miriam anywhere at the show. Actually, I might have seen her in the corner somewhere, but the point is, I don't.
Hiding.
Yeah, like I don't think that affected anybody to like a realistic extent. And like I don't know, like I said, like we're a tremendously queer art scene here in Vancouver. And so like for me, it just kind of felt like Pride Part 2. I just got to hang out with a bunch of my gay homies and like just like talk about how cool our art is and like lift each other up and like I don't know, it's a beautiful experience. I'm glad VanCAF is back. Oh, and also one more thing. Shout out to Rob from Lucky's Comics, who's one of the organizers with VanCAF. That man worked so hard throughout the show. It's funny. I don't know why I had like an old man pictured in my head and not somebody who's like my age. But like this dude is so gentle and soft spoken and made rounds and talked to every single table, just making sure that everybody was all right, that everybody was comfortable, and like that they weren't having any bad interactions with people. And so shout out to you, Rob. You did great, buddy. You did great.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it is curious as to how a guest would get a contract. You know what I mean? Like that's something I've never heard of before. So that to me is just kind of stands out. And then on top of that, I think that what we've learned from this specific example is that the final boss of the Canadian brand of liberalism, or whatever you want to call it, the general like niceties of Canadian culture compared to Americans, is that the final boss is liberal Zionists. There's no answer to the liberal Zionist when it comes to Canada. In America, they just go straight to anti-Semitism. Let's be real. They just go, oh, you're one of those, and you run the country or whatever the fuck. You run the world secretly. And so there has to be a nice middle ground between the American approach to Zionism and the Canadian approach to liberal Zionism. We're still kind of figuring out. We're almost there. To be fair, we are.
I think that it's a tricky place for us culturally. I mean, Zionism wrong. Zionism hella wrong. I think that we are a country that in particularly brings in a lot of refugees, Like I remember when the Syrian refugee crisis happened and like that fundamentally changed the demographics on my block, And
Sure.
I think that because there is a ruling class who might be more supportive of a lot of the things that we fundamentally disagree with as human beings because we have brains and we can recognize that genocide is bad. That doesn't necessarily mean that on the ground, the community isn't thoughtful and mindful of the impact of a fucking genocide. You know, like I like you can't throw a stone without like seeing a household that isn't like directly impacted by that. And like, you know, I don't know what the culture is necessarily with like you guys and like your own cultural thing with, I don't know how indigenous relations are in the States. My understanding is bad, which it also is here.
I mean,
but
I was going to say it's bad across the board when it comes to indigenous populations, not just America, not even just the Americas. I mean, Australia too struggles with that.
Big time. I think that
Japan absolutely is like the unbeatable king of fucking up indigenous populations.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh yeah. I think that like in Canada we had this whole thing called like reconciliation, because like a few years ago like there was some digging happening at like one of the old residential schools and like mass graves of children were found, you know? And I think that event culturally for us in Canada did have us have to like reconcile with the reality of the pain that we've caused as a people. And I think that does overall create more empathy for what like our Palestinian brothers and sisters and whatever the sibling term for they is. I myself am a they. I'm allowed to make that joke. And I think that it's good. I feel happy to see the empathy that I see every day from my peers and not necessarily from those in charge.
No, for sure. And the same goes for here in the States, I feel. There's plenty of anti-Zionists in America who are fighting the good fight every single day on the ground. And so that's what gives me hope is that, you know, within the last, I would say 5 years, the shift has been dramatic across the board. Like, you couldn't convince me 5 years ago that there would be pushback within the DNC, for example, to no longer want to receive funding from AIPAC. Like, that just didn't exist. It was assumed if you are running for office and you are, regardless of what party, you are taking the AIPAC money happily. That's just an assumed thing. And nowadays, that's like political poison. Never seen that, never saw that coming. I'm glad it's finally happening. I don't think it's enough, but it's a good step forward. And before we get too much into this rabbit hole, because my God, we could spend an entire episode just talking about this. At least I could, because there's something wrong with me. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. We've hit the hour mark. We got all our spots.
And you're always
in.
welcome back to come back on the premium feed as well now, JP.
I know.
Yes,
I'm so sorry
absolutely.
I wasted so much time talking about The Sopranos. Oh my God.
No, that was probably one of my favorite segments we've done in a long time.
Yeah, this is a great episode because we even though we didn't interview you and I fucked up, we had some good conversations.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
I didn't give you the typical experience.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I hardly even mentioned like process or
no,
anything.
we can always do the fucking boring nerd talk on the premium episode and throw in, you know, a little bit of anti-Zionism in there too. But I guess what I'm getting at is, JP, where can people find your work online if they want to purchase one of your fine published books, your self-published books? Where can they get them?
Yes. So you can follow me at sellout.garbage on Instagram. That's what you get when you make an Instagram handle when you're 19. That is the only place you can find me on the internet. I don't fuck with any of that Twitter stuff. I only got the mental space for one social media platform at a time. By the time this episode is out, my big cartel will finally be updated and you can buy my books internationally, provided that the tariffs don't screw my American friends over on that one. And in terms of upcoming projects and junk that needs to be plugged, GASH 1, it is out. It is great. It has everything you want. It has gay robots. It has crack-smoking behemoths. It has like 3 individual face melts in it. It's a bananas comic. Let's see. Gadfly. I can't believe I never mentioned Gadfly in this interview, but I do a lot of work with bands, and my absolute favorite client is Gadfly. They are a psychedelic rock trio outside of here in Vancouver. They do a bunch of touring, and I am doing their new album cover for the album Arzer. I hope I pronounced that right. And I actually don't know if I was even allowed to announce that, but it is coming sometime in the fall, and you can buy a vinyl version of my art. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, that's sick. Hell yeah.
One more thing that I need to plug. This doesn't have anything to do with me, but hey, have you guys heard of the DULF?
No, what's that?
This is a political issue that I care very much about.
We don't talk about politics on the pod.
All these issues.
I'm just kidding.
Fine.
No,
you don't need to hear more about it. I won't plug it.
Plug it.
Okay. So listen, we don't talk enough about the overdose crisis, and I just wrote a whole issue about overdose. It's important that people understand that fentanyl has not gone away despite all these issues that we're seeing. And over here in Vancouver, we have this political organization called the DULF. They're the Drug Users Liberation Front, and I shit you not. They took money from they took money from crowdfunding, donations, even a little bit of government funding, and they bought hard drugs on the internet, on the dark web. I'm talking crack, I'm talking cocaine, I'm talking heroin. They had it completely clean. No overdoses were ever had in the process of them distributing these drugs completely for free, right? That was genuine harm reduction. And right now, you can support their legal case because unsurprisingly, they're going to jail. They are going to hella jail. So look up the DULF, donate some money to them, and help these people get a lower sentence because people who save lives don't deserve to go to jail. And that's just a flat fact to that.
I agree.
Yeah, same.
I agree.
And now, this is completely unrelated, but I do have some more shooting at the hip I want to do. What was the name of that goddamn kid that you had on the other day who was talking all that smack about Field Mouse Press or whatever?
Oh, Field Mouse.
That might have just been us.
Field Mouse put out his book. It was, what was that guy's name? Jared Sarney.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Jared. Now listen, I talked to Jared before this, so I'm allowed to say this. Jared, you're bad at talking smack, okay? You're bad at starting drama. And so I got some things that I want to say here just to show you how it's done real quick. Let me check my notes here. Okay, so to male cartoonists, I need you to stop talking about your dicks, like immediately. Robert Crumb was only interesting in the context of the sexual revolution, and even then his most compelling work was made with Eileen Kaminsky. But you all just love to write her out of the picture, now don't you? Second of all, to the recovering Catholics in the audience, oh my god, we get it. You're gay and horny. We all figured out that was cool way before you. So, you know what? I'll start caring about what you have to say when you have something interesting to say. How about that? And finally, to all of my American peers, like I said at the beginning of the show, Canadian comics are coming to kill you. And unless you start giving your work some goddamn integrity, you're going to fail. Oh, and actually, wait, I had one more. Oh, yeah. Why'd we all start smoking cigarettes as cartoonists, huh? You know, Jack Kirby and Wally Wood all look fly as fuck in their goddamn artist pictures, and it's because they're smoking darts. We all need to be hucking more darts immediately. It's the artistic and authorly thing to do. Thank you.
Very nice.
Hell
Very
yeah.
Nice. We're going to get a lot of hate
Crazy
mail.
way to go out.
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make comics.
Yeah. So Field Mouse Press, if you want to publish JP, hit them up.
I think I already got that rejection letter.
Very nice.
Hell yeah. Well, listeners, we appreciate you all being here. JP, you're for sure going to have to come back because you're a loaded gun, man.
Oh, hey, we'll do some movies. Okay, I got some ideas for the movie part on your Patreon. We'll do Alice in Wonderland. It'll be great.
All right. Hell yeah. Well, listeners, as always, we appreciate you being here. For real, go get Gash, if not for the incredible comic it is, for my pull quote, if you're a Cam Del Rosario completist. But listeners, we appreciate you being here. And as always, stay gutter.